I saw a video of Pastor Chris where he is he's saying that Cyril went there to America to be a beggar. He was there to speak as a beggar. That's all it is. Out of the entire conversation, I thought, let's go over there and listen to what Pastor Chris was saying. This is it.
Africa is currently at the White House in the United States to see President Trump. And I listened a little bit to the dialogue, and three things got my attention. You know, he was quite comfortable. The man is a strategic negotiator. That is the president of South Africa, and I give him credit for that. He's a smart man. But he was totally unprepared. He was totally unprepared. When he became very comfortable and everything looked nice, he came up with the issues about the South African farmers who the president said were being oppressed and being persecuted and being killed. And he brought it up. He brought it up and tried to tell the president of the United States that, you know, it's not really what's going on in our country. Our country, you know, things are going on better and all that. And the president said, so why are they dying? What's happening to them? He downplayed it. Then the president of the United States said, I have something to show you. He said, put on the video. Then they played several videos with the PFF guy who was threatening to kill the boys and so on and so forth. He was talking EFF, EFF, you know, threats to kill the boys. And it was terrible. And then they showed the video with the stadium full of people and they're chanting the same things. It looked really violent. Then from there, they showed this street, I don't know, it was a big one, a long one with where they paid some tributes to people who had been killed, farmers that had been killed, cross signs, all right, indicating that so many had been buried along the way. So it was said that...
Okay, so the particular one he's speaking about here, I showed it in the first video. I showed it's a memorial site. It just indicates how many deaths have been in farms. It's not indicating white farmers' deaths. It's just indicating deaths in the farms. So I highlighted that on the first video. Check that video where I debunk the articles that Trump was showing, that the articles that he was showing had nothing to do with thingy. Go check that video. It's down in the thingy. We did take a minute on that video, so do check it out there. I'm not going to show that information here.
This was a Sunday, and these people are coming from church. They're going home, and they stopped over there to pay respect to the dead. Now, the president of...
Okay, he's talking about the line of cars. Now, there were analysts that looked at the video and said that was during the period of COVID, but who knows where they pulled that particular clip from.
South Africa sat now at the edge of his chair and he looked horrified. He said, he was so uncomfortable. He said, I've never seen this. I had seen those videos.
No, here Pastor Chris here mixed up the facts of what he was talking about. When the president said he had never seen it, he wasn't referring to the videos. He addressed the videos. As a matter of fact, not only did he address the video, his Minister of Agriculture, who is an opposition for over 30, who is an opposition party leader called DA in South Africa, also spoke about those clips. Even Rupert, who was Trump's friend for all these years when they stayed in the same city, in the 70s or whatever, according to what he said, even in the discussion there, he addressed those videos. The videos we all know. It's not that he didn't know the videos. He didn't know the articles that Trump was showing. So if you go back to thinking, if you go back to the video, the things he didn't know were the articles. He said, where is that? He was asking about the articles. And I've said That's why I said, go check the video that I made. The articles that Trump was showing are not about thingy. And it makes sense now why the president couldn't recognize them, because the articles were not clear. There's only one article that he showed there that has to do with a white person being killed in a farm. The rest are about other things, about people moving. He makes it about farm matters. There was one article that he showed in the beginning that I could not find anywhere. And so I don't know if that's an old one, because he made it sound like this way from the last few days. Because if you go back and you watch the video, he says from the last few days. And he's lying even about that point. I forgot to mention that point in the first video. He said, no, these are from the last few days. That was a lie. Some of those articles that he was pulling out, particularly the one from America Thinker, some of those articles were from December last year. And so I forgot to mention that particular point. So here, I do think that the man of God has those particular points mixed up. The clips he did answer for, and everyone that spoke answered for the clips. But Trump was convinced on his own thing. And also, the reason why it was important, before I continue with this clip and go to something else that he mentions that I do agree with, and to a certain level, and certain level I don't agree. Another thing that that's important to explain to the world, from South Africa's perspective, we have a multi-nation political parliament. In many countries, that's not common. You just have left and right. And so you have to explain, why do you have Julius Malema in parliament screaming those things? You have to explain. In this country, a lot of people don't understand this. In this country, you can have 8 different political parties in parliament. You can literally have almost about 10, even 20. What decides how many representatives from a party come into the parliament is it's actually how many votes they got. And so in this, when you talk about true democracy, this is what true democracy looks like. Okay, the world could learn 1 or 2 things, unlike in many countries. And you have to explain that, because even their politics, they only have Republican or Democrat. Here we have multinational. We don't just have 2 parties. Our ballot paper is as big as you can, as far as you can think. It's like a toilet paper. It keeps rolling, and new parties keep applying, and some of them meeting the criteria of what's needed and so forth. So that thing, you have to explain, how is a person screaming things like that in parliament? Okay, so that particular part, let's be very clear. It's not that he didn't know the videos. He knew the videos. The thing that he said he doesn't know those things were the articles. And the articles that Trump was reading had nothing to do with thinking. Anyways, moving on.
I wonder how come you've not sinned? How come you hadn't sinned? Before you go for something like that, since that was the charge. Yes, sir. You see, that was the charge. He should have been more prepared. He should have seen those videos. Yes, sir. He should have seen those videos. He can't blame the president for what he said. And I give credit to the president of the United States for being bold enough to speak face to face and, just clearly to him about his concerns, and to show him the video in front of the world press. Now, whether those videos were genuine or not is not the issue.
The articles were the fake one, not the videos. The videos are real. We know them, like I explained.
That is not important. That's why he should have seen the videos before. Yes. Because they're not new. Yes, sir. I said, I've seen the videos. Yes. The two make...
So now he then goes on to another point here. I won't have enough time, where he now addresses them now saying, we need your help concerning combating the crime in the country and all those kind of things. And definitely, and I want to just kind of like plead their case a little bit here, just for a second. America has crazy good technology. And I think even Israel has crazy good technology. In America, in certain parts of their thingy, they have technology that can pick up guns and tell you where the gun happened without even someone calling the police. They have camera technology that if it hears a gunshot, it will just turn to that particular area. Now, there are other parts of the world that I think they do have technology like that and stuff like that. But I've watched like a lot of crime-based videos that happen in America, where Chicago and all these kind of areas where they know there's a lot of crime that happen. And the thing that assists them are these cameras, that have built a technology in them that it can detect crime happening, it can detect where the gunshot came from, and it can turn and immediately spot where the entire thing comes from, and they can have the so that with that type of a technology, it would help a lot, particularly in areas that are known to be crime ridden. And so I can understand why they are saying, and this is not a thing that only Ramaphosa said. It's something that also Rupert also mentioned and so forth. But then Rupert also does mention it along the side of bringing up Starlink and all that entire jazz. That gets hectic. I don't know why they're pleading so heavy for that. But what I do like about that approach of coming to answer is that it shows there are areas we might differ, for them to be for Rupert to be there and pleading for his own things and talking for Starlink and saying that we need this and all that kind of stuff. It shows that aspect again, that we have areas we agree we need to resolve this, and we have areas where we are doing something about, and we have areas that we are not doing anything about, and we are arguing, and so that particular part helps to see. When you see Rupert there mentioning his own thing, he goes to mention his own thing. And so that was also another very interesting thing. So Pastor Chris speak about, why are they begging and thinking. There are certain countries that just have better technology in certain areas. Like, for instance, in Israel, they have technology that can pick up these missiles, shoot them down before they even intrude into their space. So some countries tend to have technology in certain areas that are way more advanced because of the things that they've gone through, the things that they've had to develop themselves in, and so forth. And so that one, understandable. And also another thing I just want to go back on. Why is that important? Remember, companies can hold a trademark of certain technologies. They can hold trademark to certain technologies. Even if you went and you try to thingy, they will only stop there and halt your innovations within that space. And so that might be why you can't just wake up and say, oh, okay, they did this. You run over and do thingy, unless yours is something else that's completely different to what has been thinking. So sometimes, if you are a government, you just go over there. Hey, you know what? We like this. Would like to implement this, right? And so Pastor Chris says he does so because he doesn't have the Holy Ghost. Yeah, we don't know if he's saved. Saving. It sounds a bit far from that one. It sounds a bit far from that one. But as a president, when you are dealing with things like that, you need to know, yeah, we need this, we need that, and stuff like that. And he was going on the route of saying, they make it sound, they sound so weak. You can't be begging so much.
Two videos that were showed there, the one from the EFF and then the one from the burial. They're really, really terrible when you look at them. So you can't blame the president for bringing that up. The South African president should have been more prepared. If it was a debate, he already lost. Period. Yes, sir. The second thing was, he said several times that, you're a big economy. Our country is a tiny, tiny economy. I thought, you say that in America, and you come back to Africa and say, well, giant of Africa. How could you?
Yeah, but let's understand what that means. To say that they are a small and emerging economy, these things mean something within the world, within the geopolitical Political words will hang my tongue. And so these things mean something within this the space of the politics in the world. So we're an emerging economy compared to what they are doing, compared to what you guys are up to, compared to what you guys are tackling. We are way behind, and that's not backwards. That is not backwards, And so it is humble in the sense to know where things. Now remember, there's all these contributions that America used to make and whatnot, and Trump, the first thing that he did when he came into office, he cut everybody, cut. What creates or builds relationships within these countries? It's those commitments that we've committed to help you within this area. We are committed to help you within the AIDS pandemic and whatnot, and all of these health systems that you have, and all those kind of things. Those are what creates good relationships between countries. And so because you are getting something from another country, it doesn't mean that's what creates relationship. It's like your neighbor having water and then you having electricity. Like, hey, plug me up, basically. And you're basically trading on that, right? Right now, you can see what Asia is doing. Asia is building a lot of relationships with other countries in the sense of, you know what, we don't have these particular skills, but we need yours. So when it comes to teachers or what, that's what we need. We need more of that. We need more of that and so forth. And so I don't think that's a bad thing. But Pastor Chris went on to speak concerning that. But yeah, tell me your thoughts down in the comment section. It's the Reality Show, Daily Christian Commentary videos. If you did see that one, and your thoughts down in the comments below.